All right, today we're going to be discussing Project 25. You hear Project 2025, how the Democrats hate it, how truly most Republicans hate it, but the conservatives, I'm going to give you my opinion on it. And why is Trump so against it? Well, as a conservative and as a Christian, I believe this is a very good video to, let's dive a little deeper in 2025. Is it something that we should be pushing for? And why would Republicans not want it? Let's talk about it today. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you're new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It does mean the world to me, and it does help us spread our message across this platform. If you don't like it, that's okay. Let me know in the comments below, because it helps us talk amongst ourselves. When we have conversations in the comments, it allows us to say, okay, let's have a common sense approach to this. Let's gain wisdom from this. Let's dive a little deeper and get some research there. I think it helps us grow as a community, because our goal is to build awareness, to raise our family in the best and safest way in this crazy world. Now let's talk today about Project 2025. It has been going viral about what is it? Why is everyone so worried about Project 2025? Even the Democrats are hating it and trying to throw it as shade towards Trump. Trump, to be honest, is disavowing it too. Now, this is from the Heritage Foundation. It's kind of the basis of it. And yes, it's like 900 pages. But let's just talk about some of the key takeaways that actually I'm not disagreeing with it. I think that it's gotten a bad name. I think that I think what we see with the Republican Party, I'm just going to be straight out. I am a Christian conservative. So therefore, I'm going to vote pretty much 100% with the Republicans. Not because the Republicans stand on morals and values that I believe. I believe actually the party has went completely center. I believe actually the Republicans of today are really the Democrats of the early 90s or even the 80s. Even Reagan, to me, Reagan was a great president, but he actually did some things that were a little bit more over-regulation for a lot of things that I would think that is freedom and conservative oriented. So let's dive a little deeper in this. What does 2025 actually represent? So when I say I'm a conservative, I really am. And to be honest with you, I'm a Christian conservative libertarian, if you really want to get crazy about it, because I think we're overregulated. I believe that we still have too much overreach of the government, even on the Republican side. So let's talk about this. It says Project 2025 is a collection of conservative and right-wing policies that is published by the Heritage Foundation. It is to reshape the United States federal government and consolidate executive power under the Republican nominee. Now, this is a project pushing for, they think Trump will win, and they believe Trump should set some of these policies in act. Now, the thing is, Trump is saying, look, I had nothing to do with this. However, a lot of these people were the conservative side of a lot of his cabinet. It was the conservative side of the support that he once had. Now, I go back and say this too. As a conservative, I'm 100% pro-life, and I want to see morals and values back into our party. We have lost morals and values, even the Republican Party, where we've tried to be more inclusive to people coming across the line. So what we've done is we've moved more center to attract more independents and centrist and blue dog Democrats, whereas the Democrats have went completely left. It's like we took it's like if you had a point here and the Republicans are way over here and the Democrats are way over here, it's like the Republicans just moved closer to the middle. So it still attracts everybody on the right side, but also pulls some of this side here, because the Democrats are way over here off the spectrum. Now, that is good if we're wanting to get a candidate elected. However, for me as a Christian conservative, to me, it's like we've lost a lot of our leadership and representation, because we really don't have anyone actually leading us per se. All right, it continues. The project asserts that the entire executive branch is under the direct control of a president. Article 2 of the United States Constitution and the unitary executive theory. It proposes to reclassify tens of thousands of federal civil service workers as political appointees. Now, the point of that, and just, again, me on layman's terms, is saying, if someone's a civil servant and they work for the government, a president comes in, if that bureaucracy is already set and they hate him, they may work against him, kind of like we saw in 2016 to 2020. The powers that be still may be a liberal amount of workers underneath the president. So what they're saying is everyone should be considered a political appointee, so that way when you change government, if we see some people fighting against that government, then they should be able to fire them and then hire people that are more loyal to the president. That would make sense in any business situation. This works for the Democrats too. Doesn't make it right, but to be honest with you, DC is pretty much a Democrat stronghold anyway. So most of the people working in Washington are liberals. They just are. Even the ones working under conservative leaders, they tend to lean more to the left. So what this is saying is, Project 25 is saying, if this president comes in, he should be able to hire and fire whomever he wants and make sure he has loyalties to his cause, so that way it enacts things to get passed, especially on the conservative side. The whole point is to make Washington more conservative. Now, will that happen? And that's why I think you're seeing the blowback, because of course the Democrats don't want that. But to be honest with you, even though I'm a Trump supporter, even though I want to vote for him, he's not a true conservative. I want people to understand that. Yes, we want to support him because he is on the right. But just like the Bushes, just like Romney, none of these people are true core conservatives. We just have to vote for him. Now, I do believe Trump's bombasticness and his straight talk is a lot better than polished politicians like the Romneys, the McCains, or Bushes. However, I think that's why he's trying to disavow himself from it, because it tends to lean a little bit more conservative than even Trump. In doing so, with allowing them to be appointed, it will allow for the ones who are not part of that to be held accountable. Meaning, if you are someone who is trying to work against the president or whom you work for in the cabinet, since you are considered an appointee versus just a typical worker, then it's kind of on merit. You either get hired or you're fired based on what you're doing in work. That's kind of common sense for any business. I wouldn't want to own my business and then have 15 people under me that works for me that actually don't like me and wants me to fail. Would you? I mean, think about that. That doesn't really make sense. The project seeks to infuse the government and society with Christian values. Now, that's a winner for me. Because to be honest with you, again, look at some of the speakers going to the RNC this year. Some of them don't believe like I believe. I mean, we have people like Pressler, we have people like Rubin, we have people like Amber Rose. Those people, again, do not stand on the core convictions and the core morals and values that I personally stand for as a Christian conservative. So I think that's why you see the Republican Party, who is moving more center, is moving away from people like us, who is wanting Christian conservatism and morals and values back again. Like I've told you before, I can't stand for any politician, Republican or Democrat, to get up and curse in front of all these people, women, children, on a stage. I think that looks terrible. Biden does it, Trump does it. Actually, a lot of senators do it. Even, you've heard like the Ted Cruz's and them get up and do the same thing, and it's just like, it's so distasteful to me. I don't want to hear Lindsey Graham cuss. I don't want to hear this congressman cuss. To me, that just degrades you, because if you're a real man, you can handle your talk and be staunch and be thought-provoking, be wise without the curse. So I think that what Project, again, 2025 does, it's looked at as something bad, but to be honest with you, it's not. So let's go a little deeper on some of the other issues that I believe most of us would stand with. Much of the other parts of the plan does this. Listen to this. It details extreme executive branch overhauls, like we talked about with people. Among many recommendations, Project 2025 lays out a plan to criminalize pornography, which is a good thing. Disbanding the Commerce and Educational Department, so trying to get rid of all these regulatory agencies that serve no purpose. Does the Department of Education actually do anything? We're paying more for our kids than we've ever paid. I pay for them, and I'm homeschooled, and I still have to pay the Department of Education and tax, basically, for these school systems. We pay more per student than anyone in the world, and our levels of education are lower because we're not teaching arithmetic and language anymore. We're learning to teach them in DEI and inclusion issues and things that teachers should be teaching. So it's trying to get rid of the Department of Education, also Department of Commerce, and even some of the other departments that are just so frivolous and so pointless. We want to save money. Well, this is the plan. We have to get rid of some of these departments and agencies. It makes perfect sense. It also rejects abortion as health care. Again, we're pro-life. Trump is not pro-life. Now, Trump did a phenomenal job, and I've taken up for him and justified for the fact of getting it back to states. It is a state's right. Because I do know that there's no one that's going to pass a bill to criminalize abortion nationwide. I wish they would. I wish they would criminalize a lot of that. But to be honest with you, I know we're not living in that time anymore. So if the best we can do is to get it where it's not legalized across the United States, and it's more broken down to states, I think that's a good thing, so that way we can at least say, okay, if I want to be in a more conservative state that believes like I do, it may take us moving, or we may need to get out of these liberal states, because again, it proves the point where how we believe as conservatives. Also, it shreds the evidence of NOAA, which is the climate push for national oceanic weather, all that kind of stuff. It basically says all this is false. You're just making an alarm on the climate. What do you think so far? It's amazing how that actually, none of that sounds bad to me. Now, Trump has, again, went against this policy. And I think it's because he's pushed Agenda 47, which I'm not opposed to. But if you look at the RNC platform, they've took out pro-life. They've taken out some of the things like core nuclear families, father-mother homes, wanting to see marriage and homes thrive, the things that make us who we are. So is he going to lose support from conservatives? No, because who's the conservatives going to vote for? That's what scares me, is that I don't know if we'll ever find true representation of the conservative libertarian side of the party anymore. But I think it's one of those cases where we're living in a time where we can't fix the problems. We have to learn to prepare for what's going on. And that's exactly where we're at. So when you're asking my opinion, again, I know this is a short video, but I don't see the problems with Project 2025. I know for most Republicans, they're going to push away from it because they're scared of actually standing on moral principle and strong conservative beliefs. But if we want to stand on true conservatism, I don't see a lot in this that proves otherwise. I may be wrong, and if so, please leave it below. I'd love to hear your comments on it. But I think Trump is trying to move towards center to pull some of that and that independent vote, that suburban woman vote, even some of that that Democrat vote that does not want to look extreme left. Great, win it. I mean, I know he is the art of the deal. He wants to negotiate, but for true conservatism, it's not a bad plan. My personal opinion, I wish he'd adopt the 2025, or parts of it at least. And I think that we can learn to do better if we stick to morals, values, and conservative beliefs. I believe we would see a better situation. I want you to think about it. When people say, oh, we should have the freedom to do whatever we want to do. Okay, I agree with that. But compare San Francisco or any of these other cities like Chicago that has these extreme leftist views to a more conservative small town. Which one would you rather raise your family in? What represents the true American way? Is it the big cities like San Francisco, Chicago, New York City, or is it more than just conservative small town? What I've learned is that we've traveled a lot over the United States the last few years. 85 to 90% of people are just like me. They're just small town people that just want to be left alone and wants to live their life and raise their family. Instead, we have bureaucrats and government that's grown so much exponentially, and that's kind of what 2025 does. It kind of stops some of that. But also, we're so held down by our biggest cities in our states. Now, Mississippi really doesn't have that problem, but for instance, Louisiana is a very conservative state. However, Baton Rouge and New Orleans really set the tone for Louisiana. Same with New York. New York is pretty conservative in a lot of those areas, other than the big cities. Same with, Pennsylvania, same with California. It just tends to be where we have constrained people to live in these cities, and they've gotten this indoctrination that they're supposed to be liberal and that that's the way that everybody thinks. And it's not. Most of rural America believe just like what I just said. Conservatism, leave me alone, let me raise my family. Yeah, you could do you, but don't portray that on me like I've got to do that. But this is how our country was established. Some of these same principles are things that our founding fathers would embrace too. So I hope Trump becomes a little bit more conservative, and I hope that he will embrace this. Think if some of our leaders truly radically changed their life and started really living for morals and values and God, and really not just talk it, but truly walk it. We'd see some major change. We'd see a revival. So again, 2025, I have no problems with it. I have no qualms with it. I'm still voting for Trump no matter if he likes it or not, because what is our other option? Other people in it are even more liberal than him. Give me your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.